And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems. So it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, "If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout." And today we're currently featuring over 3,000 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting, a 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have all the actual masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia specifically. And in addition, we're running our new number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now, the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas. One aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami, with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from an Internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destinations QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you'll protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you'll reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us the way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their bandpass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, with all that being said, let's open it up and see who's out there. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout.
Alpha Charlie 9, Zulu Yankee.
Zulu Yankee, Roger, Roger. What's the name there?
Roger, what's the name there?
The name here is Sean. Out here in Valparaiso, Indiana. Just to see how I'm doing. I'm doing the same or better. I'll be able to, check that. Just making sure everything sounds good.
Well, I'm trying to run through some of my SDRs to see if I can get a better copy on you. I don't have as good a copy as I usually do on my local antenna. For whatever reason, I guess it's just propagation, but that's where I think I normally copy you. Sean, we talked before, Roger. Gosh, I didn't even get you on the Kentucky SDR that time. Yeah, I can tell it's going to be one of those afternoons. Mother Nature is not going to be cooperative this afternoon. Roger, Roger?
No, she's not. And, yeah,
it's raining here now, so we got some weather moving through. So I'm sure that's what it is. I got some static crashes going on, so yeah, propagation, bleh, mediocre at best.
Roger, Roger. Sean, what radio are you running today, sir?
This is the FTDX10, going to a 276-foot Delta loop.
Hey, roger that, roger that. Well, it sounds pretty good. Why don't you tell me about your antenna system there for about 15 seconds or so, and let me listen to you. I'm on my local antenna, which is a tuned dipole antenna, and 7300. So give me the best, or give you the best response recording. So come back for about 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system.
Well, the antenna I'm using now is not set up like a sky loop would be. The apex is about 75 foot in the air, and then it comes down to about 12 feet off the ground. The horizontal section is about 12 feet off the ground, and I fed it in the corner with a 4-to-1, 1-to-1 balance, and it just did a sweep the other day, and 6 through 80. There's not a band that's above 1.9 SWR, and the lowest I think is like 1.2. So the tuner does a fantastic job.
Oh, roger, roger. Sounds like that. Now, have you verified that you are in that 100 to 2900 transmit band pass?
Give me 1 second. I don't have my computer on, so I have to go through the menu here to double check.
That 100 to 2900 is an important setting, because if it's less than that, you'll be chopping off the top end frequency response, which is not going to help you. And you know, if it's more than that, then you'll be always in somebody else's conversation, unbeknownst to them why you are. Roger.
Roger that. Yeah, I'm there now. Yep, 100, 2900. So that I was at 300. That cut off a lot of the lower end. And I'm a close talker and a soft talker, so I'm right up on the microphone.
Right, you're doing a 300 to 2900 now?
100 to 2900.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think you sounded really good when you came up on that mic. You know, come up there and let me hear you a little bit more.
I'm right here. I'm probably about 4 inches away from the microphone. I got the microphone on a boom, so that I can swing it out of the way, lay back, relax. I don't like hand mics. The only thing I use with a hand mic is my 2 meter, 70 centimeter, and GMRS radio. Other than that, I use this for every other radio.
Oh, roger that. And you're running a 3, let's see, a 30 on compression. Is that a roger?
On my compression, it's set at like 15. I don't use a lot of compression. I don't use any EQ in the radio whatsoever. That goes through the mixing board. I do the EQing on the mixing board. I just got better results with that. So that's what I'm going to continue using.
Oh, roger that. Now, just a question: where is your your internal mic level control? hopefully it's around a 4 or 5, Roger, Roger?
I got that set at about 10. Got that set at about 10. I'm not hitting the front end of the radio, nowhere near nowhere near at a level that would hurt it. I always keep that low, and I only use just enough gain to pick my voice up without getting a whole bunch of background noise. KC9VKV.
Roger that. But the thing is, the level, when you come in the front end, you come into a preamp section. The volume is in the next section. So if you come in at a 1, you're going to be close to over mod on that first preamp section. What we suggest is that you adjust your internal mic level to a 4 or 5, and then back off of the input drive to where at a 4 or 5 you can set your modulation automatic level control, your ALC meter to mid-scale to a 7 actually on that radio. As you say the word audio. So it would be saying the word audio, looking at your ALC meter, and adjusting your internal radio gain to a 4 or 5, and then backing off on your external drive of your stuff to make it work out right. Roger? Roger, kind of faded out on my 7300. I had to go to my Virginia SDR. But the whole idea is to keep your radio gain in a medium position, so you make sure you've got latitudes of audio adjustment prior to distortion one way or the other. When you get down into those lower input levels, then you could easily swamp that first section of preamp. So by adjusting your internal amp gain to a 4 or 5, and then adjusting the outboard gain as you say the word audio and look at your ALC meter, that will give you a nice input level. Roger?
Give you a nice input level. Roger?
Roger that. The only thing is you got to make sure if you're saying 4 or 5, make sure you're telling them on a scale of what? Because mine goes from 0 to 100. If it was 0 through 10, then yeah, 5. I tried the 5, and yeah, that does not work. I have it at 10 now, and I put it back to where I had it, and my ALC is sitting there bouncing right there at about 5 to 7. So it's it seems to be working quite well. I mean, I've been using this radio for, a year and a half or more. So, I think this is about as good as I can get this radio to sound.
Roger, well, just, what I'm saying is that the input to your mic is not 0 level or plus 6 or whatever. Is considerably lower. It's minus 55 actually. So if you're coming out of your mixer at your line out, you need to put a pad in there or something to bring that level down. If you're coming in the front end onto the mic, since you have a 0 to 100 input mic level, you should be running 40 or so on that input mic, just to be sure you're staying out of distortion in the front end of that first preamp.
preamp.
Yeah, being a musician and recording audio for many years, I have a direct box. I don't go directly from the mixing board into the radio. I use a direct box, got a 10 and a 20 dB pad. I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying. But this, I noticed when I would put the gain on the radio at like 35 or 40, and then use the mixer, it did not sound good at all. It didn't sound good at all. I got recordings of it. It sounds horrendous. So the way I have it now,
and I've got nothing but excellent audio reports. So I'm very hesitant to change anything after screwing around with it and making sure everything was working properly.
Roger, Roger. Well, I'm back on my 7300, and I do hear a little something there at the on the peaks, but you know, it's nothing major. And does that FTDX10 does that have DC on the mic input?
Does it have what? I didn't catch those last things you said.
DC for electret microphone, does it furnish that? And you need to block that, you know, if it does have DC present on the audio input to the FTDX10 for a electret microphone.
Don't quote me, but I believe it does not. The cable that I have, I actually bought the cable when I bought the radio from Pyle. So it's not something I just cobbled together. Like I said, I don't know what kind of what you're hearing on the peak. It can't be distortion, because I don't see anything on my scope that is showing me that I am any kind of distortion going out of the radio, from what I can tell.
Roger, Roger. Well, it would be fairly easy if you'd be interested. We could conduct a sidewalk scientific experiment. I don't know if you would be up for it or not, but if you would be, take your mic gain in your radio up to 50, and if you can easily turn back your gain on your outboard stuff to where you can get 0 on your ALC meter when you say the word audio, and we'll just double check to make sure it's not front end distortion.
KC9VKV, audio. Alright, well, that's with it at 50, and my oscilloscope looks not as good. You tell me exactly what you're hearing on your end.
I hear just slightly a bit of bass, a little more bass than where it was, but I still hear that noise. There's an adjustment there. Let me let's see here. Let me bring up that my notes on that. Of course, it's somewhere here in amongst my notes. Oh gosh, audio set low. No. Shoot, I can't find it now. I forget what it is. It's something in the audio setup that's different from any other radio that I ever run across. But I can't see it right now, unfortunately. Wait a minute, no, that's not right. Gosh. I'm running, I got a pad here, a tablet, and it's got all kinds of stuff, and over the period of time I've added a bunch of stuff, and so I used to be able to go right to it, and it's called Radio Notes. Well, let me check under R. Oh no, not that. I don't see it now. But anyway, it sounds really good. Now, you know, what I'm doing is just kind of nitpicking, but it does, that last adjustment where you had your internal mic gain at 5 and your external mic mixer adjusted down to give you 0 level, I'm not 0 level, but 7 on your ALC meter when you said the word audio. It just gave you a little more bass than what you had, but essentially you know, I'm wondering, you know, that sweet spot on the ALC meter is to the right of center at 7. Roger, Roger?
Roger that. Yeah, that's usually right where I keep it. It bounces, like right now, audio. It's just above 7. So, yeah, I think somebody else out there said something. I didn't quite catch it. Maybe a comment about my audio, or I'm not sure.
Yes, sir, I didn't hear it, so it must have been when I was talking, and I can't find my, basically I can't find my my notes on that radio, but there's another adjustment there. Now I can't even recall what the heck it was called. But anyway, you're sounding good, man. And, you know, check out your recording. I'm on my local antenna, 7300, so it's going to be, you know, the best of the bunch as far as actual recording off the air. We run very low RF in the front end of the 7300, so we don't have any suck up between the words, like RF compression in the front end. And so I think you'll like your recording. Roger?
Roger that. KC9VKV. And I believe the setting you're looking for is the automatic mic control, the AMC level. I played with that, and I played with that a lot. And 55 is the sweet spot for my setup.
You're absolutely correct. That's exactly what I was looking for, and the numbers are correct also. So you got it going on, man. I'm sitting here sweating my brain trying to remember what the heck that was.
Roger that. Yeah, I know. I may sound sharp as a marble, but I know a couple things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's you know, and the other thing on the other side of the coin is that when you're up to a 5, coming in with an external device, you stand the problem of hum as one thing from ground loops and stuff. You know, obviously the lower you have that mic input, internal mic input, the less ground loops are going to show up. Roger?
Yes, and that is exactly what the direct box is for. I forget the one that I have, the exact specs on it. But if you don't run a direct box with your radio and your mixer. I don't advise it. You definitely should run a direct box that has the ground lift switch, has the 10 and 20 dB pad. Yeah, they're not a lot of money, and they really help.
Roger, Roger. Now, have you ever contemplated going in from the back of the radio instead of through the mic aspect?
No, I haven't. Never. That has never even crossed my mind.
Roger. Well, you know, probably ultimately that would be the cleanest way to gain access to your audio, transmit audio through the backside there. I guess you would come in at almost a zero level on that sucker. You'd bypass that front preamp. That would negate your I think that negates your internal equalization. It negates your compression, and it negates like I say, the front preamp tube. So you know, that's another way. I've heard a lot of guys come in the backside, and you know, it's just another way of doing it, Roger. Probably a cleaner way, but I don't. I come in the front, and I got a ton of stuff attached to that. You know, we're recording video, audio, and all kinds of stuff on that input, and I just there for a while it was touch and go until I got a couple of things straightened out, and I'm using an ART preamp with a home-built Electret microphone, and it was a case of wanting to get the best sound possible but still feed everything else. So, you know, that's what I'm doing. I started with a gosh, what is that? Well, mine fails me right now. But anyway, I've always come in the front end, and then I have on this ART preamp, I'm running about 10 dB below max output. So if I want to check to see how close I am to blowing up, I just turn the mic gain up those other 10 dB, and if things don't take off like a big bird, I know I'm in pretty good shape, Roger.
KC9VKV. Yeah, I had it was made by Steinberg. It was a Steinberg UR824. It had really, it was 8 inputs. It had really good, clean, very clean mic preamps on it. And then got rid of that, and then I went to a Scarlett Focusrite Scarlett interface to use with the DOS software, and that's how I was doing it before. But my computer would just heat this room up, so I stopped doing that. I mean, I could do anything, limiters, and you name it, that the program had it. And it made a huge difference, but it just made the room too hot.
Roger, now listen, you're a dedicated ham radio operator. I'm surprised at you being scared away by a little heat going on.
Well, you know, I'm not in a very small room. I'm not in a large room. This room's about 13 by 18, and I have a south-facing window. So the sun is basically blasting in that window all day long, and I am at the very end of the ductwork. My house is 5,200 square feet, so you can imagine how long that runs. all the way from the lower level. So if I am talking on the radio, if I'm using the amplifier and the computer, this room with the air conditioning will get to be about 82 degrees. Nope. I will just use a $100 mixer, and I will be happy with that.
Yeah, roger that. I understand. I wish I could do that. I've got about the same problem as you, but I've got a 4-inch fan mounted just above the one of the monitors that I normally look at. So I'm looking right into a little 4-inch fan, and it's just breezing along just perfect, Roger.
Roger that. Yeah, well, that's another thing, too, is I have 2 Astron power supplies. And you know those things, they put off a decent amount of heat themselves. So I got 2 of those. I got an ICOM 2730A. I got a little Anytone 778UE that I'm going to be using for GMRS, and the FTDX10, and the AL572. There's a lot of heat generated, and I'm sure you get it. And then to top it all off, a 55-inch screen above the desk. So yeah, there's quite a bit of heat being generated.
Yes, sir. But you know, it's all worth it for ham radio. I mean, it's just the heat's kind of a byproduct that we have to deal with one way or the other. I've got these little 4-inch fans are just beautiful. I've got one sitting on top of my PA that just comes down, blows. Let's see how that is. I don't know if it's sucking up or blowing down, but it's just on top of my my PA. And we've been running that PA for, oh gosh, never mind. I won't even go there, Roger.
Roger that. Yeah, I run my amplifier on 120 volts. There really is a negligible difference between 120 and 240. For the performance of the amplifier. So I just decided to run 12-gauge Romex and a dedicated 20-amp circuit just for the amplifier. But yeah, it gets warm. It gets warm. I got a 52-inch ceiling fan going above me, and you're probably hearing some of that noise too.
Well, unfortunately, I don't have as clean a copy on you as I would like to have. To hear that. It's let's see. The noise level is probably like 10 dB below your voice, or your voice is 10 dB above my of your noise level coming into my station, and so I can't get that crystal clear down to the bottom thing. That I really loved that kind of conversation, but you got Mother Nature just doesn't cooperate a lot of the time, where she could just as easily give me a 30 over and really super quiet situation. Roger.
KC9VKV. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, that's yeah, Mother Nature is not doing anybody any favors today. So, but I won't keep you. I gotta go take care of some stuff around the house, and I hope you have a good rest of your day. And I appreciate the QSL here. So I'll say 73 to you, and I'll be clear on your final AC9ZY.
Oh, gosh, the best signal of the day right there. All right, if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, do a call and a search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,000 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So let me say 73 to you, Sean. Have a great afternoon, and if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Was that WW4ALC?
Yes, sir. That's Michael here in Tennessee.
And that's Michael in Tennessee. Is that a Roger?
Roger, I do.
Okay, Michael, and what radio are you running today, sir?
I'm on a 7300 ICOM.
Okay, Michael. Gosh, I think you're hot somewhere. I'm not really sure. Let's look at a couple of things. Are you familiar with the transmit bandwidth, your TWW, that you're in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth? Okay, so if you want to make a note of that, you should be in that 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. That will give your transmitter the best opportunity that it has of shining as best it can. Roger, Roger. If you run in lesser modes, you're cutting off the top end and the bottom end that we could more specifically shape through EQ. Roger, we want to give ourselves the first opportunity to be as wide as best we can, which would be that 100 to 2900. Then we want to shape it through EQ. So just take a note there that you want to get that radio, that 7300, and that transmit 7300 in the 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. Roger?
Hey, Roger. How's the sound now the way it is?
Sound a little bit heavy on the bottom end, frankly, but you could crank in a little more top end and strike a balance there. I'm looking at your audio on a spectrum analyzer and showing that it's pretty heavy on the bottom side. But there's another more severe problem is that I think you're overdriving your ALC. So what I want you to do is, the first thing is, if you're running compression, you should only run about a 3 on your compressor. So if you know how to get to your compressor, I would set that on a 3 on that 7300. Roger?
There, I put it on 3 right there.
Okay, now move to your ALC, and with mic gain in hand, and as you say the word audio, and you speak it just as you would speak any other word in a QSO, adjust your mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3. Roger?
Hey, Roger. Audio. How's that?
Okay, why don't you give me about 10 seconds and tell me about the best thing you like about your radio so I can listen to your audio now.
Hey, Roger, my radio's 300. I love it. It's if I can get it adjusted right.
Okay, Michael, I tell you what, why don't you, let's see, how close are you working that mic, and which mic is it?
It's Shure SM48, and I'm about 3 inches away.
I'm sorry, I lost you right at that last. How far away are you?
About 3
Yeah, that's about right. Let's see. Well, let's try. Do you know how to get to your equalization?
No, I sure don't.
All right, and I can't find my my radio adjustments, but it's it's system transmit sideband audio tone control. I think that's the way to get there. But you might take notes on that and give yourself a little more top end, about maybe 3 clicks treble boost from where you are. Roger? Okay, I missed that one. Try it again.
Just 1 second.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, ICOM and that 7300 is just a beautiful equalization situation because Bob Heil, rest his soul, did such a great job on setting that radio up, and he did what I would have done myself, get rid of that mid-range tone control, because you always want to keep your mid-range tone control flat. And you know, because equalization is a matter of the top balance to the mid-range and the bottom balance to the mid-range. And if that's true, then why would you even want to adjust your mid-range? And that's what Bob figured out. He said, we're not even going to put a mid-range control in there. We're just going to put a top and the bottom. Roger?
Hey, Roger. Now, I'm on my SSBTBY wide ranging says 100 and 2900.
Yes, sir. Congratulations. Yay! That's the one you want to be on right there. Matter of fact, you could set those other 2 controls to the same band transmit bandwidth, and therefore you could, you know, never make a mistake and get a lesser degree of transmitter possibilities by going to some of those lesser transmit bandwidths. So you could set all 3 of those to 100 to 2900. Roger?
Hey, Roger, what I'm doing right now.
Yes, sir. Exactly. So you're on the equalizer section, Roger?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so +3 treble boost from where you are. And be sure you're on the transmit tone control.
There's +3 treble boost.
All right, now I would go back to the bass side, and I would go minus 2 off the bottom from where you are. 2 more roll on the bass frequency from where you are. Roger, minus 2 clicks bass roll from where you are. All right, and my conditions are not that good right at the moment, but hopefully they will change. Tell me about your antenna system for about 15 seconds.
Well, right now I'm running on a horse fence, 80 centipede horse fence. It's only maybe about 30 feet in the air.
Yes, sir. I think that's good for your voice. Your voice is very heavy, and so we've rolled out some of the bottom end and pushed up some of the top end, so your intelligibility is a lot better now than when we started. Roger?
Hey, Roger, that works for me.
I just was trying to get a good segment to record your voice so you can hear your new sound. What's the best thing you like about your radio?
It's wonderful. I've had it for almost 2 years now, and it's got good ear hears real good, and it transmits pretty good.
Roger, Michael. Let's go back to your ALC with mic gain in hand and do your audio and adjust that mic gain until your ALC meter is running 2/3, just to the right of center. Roger? Okay, now tell me something I don't know. You got good propagation.
How this is, my radio's in good shape. Trying to get it in better shape here.
Roger, Roger. Let's see. Let's try something. Back off, Mike, about 4 more inches than where you are at the moment. Back off your mic an additional 4 inches from where you are.
How's that? I'm way back now.
Okay, maybe not that far, but just about 4 inches, Roger. I think that sounds better. What mic are you using on that radio?
I'm using Shure SM48. It's running through the equalizer, one of the DJ equalizers.
Oh, the mic has internal equalization, the mic does?
No, I got one of those equalizers that DJs use for doing DJ.
Oh, I see. And you're coming in mic level from that external device into your 7300?
Yes.
Okay, so remember you're looking for about minus 55 dB input level for that mic going into the 7300. So you're going to need a pad out of your mixer. Does that mixer have meters on it?
No, it don't. Just a basic.
Roger. Does it have an output control?
Yes.
All right. And what's your current mic level? So you're like at about a 5 on your mic level, Roger?
Yeah, about 5, yes. About 5.5.
Okay, so that's a good level. That's a good level. 4 or 5 going into that 7300 is a good level. You're well below distortion, and so the other thing is to just set that ALC level as best you can. You know, when you say the word audio, I spent 2 months trying to find the right word to set a level. And you become a human test tone generator when you say that word, and you use that word to adjust your mic gain until your ALC is running 2/3. And you know, the ALC meter does not run the full length like the meter above it. It's only about, to begin with, it's only about half as long. So you want to be just to the right of halfway of that meter in its reduced form, Roger?
Hey, Roger. Well, let me try again. There. See if I turn that right there. How'd that do?
Yeah, that's looking a little bit better. Your swing is a little bit better. Before it was kind of just, you were about 1 dB of dynamic range, and that's a little too much. Audio starts off when you do not compress audio, it generally has a 10 dB dynamic range. In other words, if I had a VU meter tied to a PA system and you were talking on it, my meter would be bouncing around from 0 level back to minus 10, constantly, because your mic level is minus 10 or is 10 dB. So what we want to do for transfer, though, we want to bring that modulation index up, which means reducing your dynamic range, or compressing it through the compressor, and also compressing it through the ALC slightly. And so, we're looking for ideally a 3 dB dynamic range, which is, you still have some life in your audio. It doesn't sound like it's up against the wall, but your average percent of peak modulation is somewhere around 80 to 85%. So with that being said, normally, and then we have to be very careful that we set that ALC meter at 2/3. We used to say halfway, between halfway and 2/3, and speak quickly so we could adjust that meter. But if you use that word audio, it's very easy to adjust that mic gain until you're 2/3 on that ALC meter. Roger?
Hey, Roger. Well, it's when the peak of my voice here, the ALC meter runs all the way, almost all the way, but not all the way, but
Yeah, so the sweet spot on that ALC meter on the 7300 is just to the right of mid-scale on your ALC meter. And I would suggest that you leave your ALC meter out where you can see it as you're talking to your friends, neighbors, and DX folks and contest folks. So you're looking at that ALC meter, and you're trying to develop a relationship between your voice level and that meter to keep it in the sweet spot of 2/3 all the time. Roger? Yes, sir, and that'll help you over a period of time. You will develop a relationship between the ALC meter and your voice, and you'll be able to keep it right there in that sweet spot. And the other idea is to, as you speak, instead of stabbing for words, if the more fluent that you can be with the delivery of the word, that also helps you stay in the sweet spot. Roger?
Hey, Roger, you're right about that.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because see, if the more you stay in the sweet spot, the better your let's see, your oh gosh, I want to say the word, the fuller you are, but it actually has to do with the average percent of peak modulation. The more you're in that sweet spot, the better your average percent of peak modulation. And that's the name of the game, is keeping that audio up to be heard. If you speak like that, you're very hard to comprehend what you're saying in less than ideal conditions. If you have ideal conditions, you can do whatever you want, but when you're right at the noise level for somebody else's receiver, you want to try to make it as easy as possible for them to copy the mail. Roger?
Roger, yeah, I understand what you're saying about my voice here. I need to come a little more smoother.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I'll give you another hint that when I first went to WHAS as a production director jock, I ran across a guy named Van Vance, who was a sports guy, and I'd been listening to him. WHAS is a 50 kW station, and you can hear it all across the country. So I'd been listening to that station before I came there, and I remember listening to Van Vance, and he sounded like he was 10 foot tall, and just, because it was like this, and he was there, just amazing. And I couldn't figure out how he was doing that. And so then when I went to HAS and I was working with him, he would come in, and I noticed that he would be sitting in a desk across from me, and I would have his mic on and turned up, but in the studio, I couldn't hardly hear him because his amplitude level was so low that, and that's why he sounded so fat, because, it's kind of like a scream. If you scream, what happens is you narrow your vocal cords down to one tone, one tonality, and that gets very loud. Well, if you look at that on an inverse plane, if you speak softly and turn the mic up, then you're going to have multitudes of resonances, and your voice is going to sound so much fuller, and it's directly related to your level of projection. Roger?
You're hearing now it came from a stroke a while back, and I've never had these lessons or anything.
I missed some of that. I'm sorry I did. Mother Nature just kind of pulled the plug. You were talking about your voice, Roger?
Yeah, Roger. My voice stroke a while back, obviously. But I've never had someone really take the time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, I've learned quite a lot in my career, and one of those things is projection level determines the width of the human voice, and if you're screaming, that width is narrowed down, and you've got your efficiency up on one tone, and it's just right there. But if you're looking for a more pleasing voice, then as you back the projection down, then you start developing resonances. Roger?
Hey, Roger, sounds like a good deal to me.
Roger, and you could maybe experiment with what is your current mic level setting on that radio?
It's at 43.
All right, now what you could do is run that mic level up to around 70 and make it work. Speak as softly as you need to stay in your AOC boundary. That would be some good teaching there. Set that up around 80, so you have to speak softly, and you can see the output of your amplitude on that AOC meter, and you want to keep the AOC meter in the sweet spot, so you would speak more softly, and that would give you more resonances. Roger? Yes, sir. Well, the main thing is to keep that AOC meter out. Your AOC meter is the Bible for your radio, and in more ways than one. It is for the radio, but it could be for you. And if you ran your mic gain up and spoke more softly, then you would broaden your speech pattern and be a lot fuller as far as your specific voice is concerned. And by referring to the AOC meter, it is a known reference that will, and if you ran it at 80, that would, or whatever it is that's comfortable, but the more, just like Van Vance, the softer you speak, the wider that resonance point is. Roger?
Do you speak the wider that resonance point is, Roger.
Oh, Roger. I'm gonna try something here real quick and tell me if that's the wrong move. Okay, how's that? I'm in that. How's that? Okay, there. I think I turned my ALC down a little bit.
Oh, okay, yeah, you don't want to do that. I think you can keep your modulation up, but what I'm saying is it has to do with your voice tonality and trying to broaden your spoken word just a little bit. And it's you can kick me in the butt and say you get lost, if it doesn't interest you. But I would set the level at like 80, and then you know where that sweet spot is on the AOC, and just try to keep that meter in the sweet spot by speaking lower at a raised mic level. And if you get tired of that and you don't want to do that, then just bring it back to 40 or whatever it is, and just speak normally. But double check to be sure that you are on the right side of the middle AOC meter, Roger.
On the right side of the middle AOC meter, Roger.
Hey, Roger. Okay, yeah, turn the knob back up, and you saying that shit. I just wanted to see if I was doing right, but I guess not. Alright, you're right.
Yes, sir. Now, the other thing that you have to watch out for is fans and blowers and stuff like that, because they will start to jump on you at those raised mic levels. So if you're in the clear and you can do that, do it. Bring it up to 80 and speak with less projection and whatever. But just remember that you have to watch out for your blowers and all that kind of stuff, and reverberation in the room, because they will start to work with you at those higher mic levels, Roger.
We'll start to work with you at those higher mic levels, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Yeah, I found that out.
But other than that, and you have that other thing that you can. Let's see, what mic was that you were using?
Let's see, what mic was that you were using?
Let's go here.
Roger. Well, I think we doubled there a little bit, but anyway, if you want to hear your audio and this discussion on on the audio chain, go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook on a YouTube search, and that will bring you to this recording. It's a KC9VKV logbook, and it'll bring you to this one. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,000, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
And I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Hey, Roger, I appreciate this.
Roger, Sean, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon and a beautiful weekend. And if you get a chance to join us next Friday, we'd love to have you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
4 Yankee Papa Whiskey.
Yankee Papa Whiskey. Give me your call sign totally slowly, phonetically, Roger.
Totally slowly, phonetically, Roger.
Roger. It's Whiskey 4 Yankee Papa Whiskey.
Yankee Papa Whiskey, Roger. And what's the name there?
Yankee Papa Whiskey, Roger. And what's the name there?
Name here is Fred. Foxtrot Romeo Echo Delta. I'm trying out a brand new mic for this ICOM I'm running.
Okay, Fred, whereabouts are you located?
Okay, Fred, whereabouts are you located?
Yeah, I'm in Ohio. I'm just outside of Dayton, Ohio, Roger.
Alrighty, and what radio is that?
Alrighty, and what radio is that?
Well, I just got it here a couple months ago. It's an ITOM 7300. It's probably the most popular one they got, but it was economical for me, and it's getting me out here on the air again.
Roger, and what mic are you using on it?
Roger, and what mic are you using on it?
Yeah, I'm putting that SM50 on it. I could have got the 30, but I thought I'd spend a little more money and get the 50 so I could adjust the mic gain a little better.
Okay, Fred, I've got a pretty good copy on my Georgia SDR, but maybe things can always be better. So if you'd give me about 10 to 15 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, I'll look around and see if I can find a better path for us. Roger?
I'll look around and see if I can find a better path for us. Roger?
Roger, roger.
So, Fred, just tell me about your antenna system, Roger.
So, Fred, just tell me about your antenna system, Roger.
Okay, yeah, I'm running. Up in the air, and it's 20 feet up in the air, and it's in an L pattern, so I get best of both worlds sometimes, Roger.
Roger that. Well, gosh, Fred, the first thing would be to be sure that that radio is operating in your 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not, but it allows you to operate your transmitter as best as possible. Other transmit bandwidths are compromised. 100 to 2900 allows that transmitter to work as best as it can, and then gives you just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation, unbeknownst to you, or them come looking for you with a pitchfork, Roger?
Or them come looking for you with a pitchfork, Roger?
Roger that. I heard that. I appreciate the advice. Trying to keep an eye on things while I'm looking at stuff, and yeah, the long wire works pretty good. I can get all the way, I can do 80 meters, sometimes 160 if it tunes right.
Roger that. I was just taking a sip of coffee. Well, the part of the tune-up on that 7300 is that we start off right with a compressor, and that compressor we have an adjustment of 3. So we just adjust that compressor to a 3. Now you can put it on a higher level, but a 3 works as best on the word as anything. If you raise it past a 3, it starts working between the words and sucking up sounds that you don't have any interest in transmitting, like somebody beating the wife in the back room and things like that. Turkeys, whatever they do, So a 3 is the best setting because we're actually working on the word, and it's something that you'll never hear on the air, but it helps us get to our final 3 dB dynamic range. So we suggest a compression on at a 3, Roger.
We suggest a compression on at a 3, Roger.
Yeah, I copy that. I went ahead and turned it down to a 3. I don't know if that makes much difference coming your way, but can I get your call sign again? I forgot to write it down there, Roger.
Roger, the call sign is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, KC9VKV. Name is Jim here, and this is the Qso-Vlog network, and we help folks adjust their transmitter to the best possible adjustments. So once you get that, and it did help when you brought that compression down to a 3. And what we normally do then is move to our ALC, the ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and as you say the secret word audio, adjust your microphone level until your ALC meter is running 2/3. Roger?
Your ALC meter is running 2/3. Roger?
Yeah, I copy that. I'm looking at it right now when I'm broadcasting, and it's hitting about 75% there, Roger.
Yes, sir, but the magic word is audio because that gives you a human test tone generator, and you can set it just specifically at 2/3 by saying the word audio and adjusting your mic level.
2/3 by saying the word audio and adjusting your mic level.
Copy that. I'll have to try it. Give me a sec here. Yeah, it's good. I'm right on the money there, Roger.
Yes, sir. Now, I forgot to tell you not to really hype that word. Just say that word as you would say any other word in a QSO. Don't stress it. Just say it. That's why it becomes so true of an adjustment word, Roger.
It becomes so true of an adjustment word, Roger.
Yeah, I copy that, Jim. Hey, I appreciate that. It helps me out a little bit learning this thing. And, you're sounding good. Where are you at? Are you in Indiana somewhere?
Yes, sir. Just across from Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger, Roger.
The Ohio River, right at Louisville. Roger, Roger.
Roger that. I've been through there many times, so it's been a little while, but the thing I remember about that is the semi-truck driver got stuck off the bridge here a while back. That was something to watch, but for Louisville, that's probably a pretty big event there, Roger.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. That was such an amazing thing. Talk about living life on the edge, on the thread of a needle. That truck, the tractor part of that truck dangled off that bridge, and it was just unbelievable. I mean, just a breeze from Louise would have sent that guy down the river.
Just a breeze from Louise would have sent that guy down the river.
Copy that. That'd have been scary, that's for sure, and glad nobody was hurt there for sure. So, Jim, I got to go. My wife texted me and said for me to get in the house because we got to leave in about half an hour to go out to dinner with some friends tonight. Copy?
Yes, sir. I know. When the wife speaks, you better hop. I mean, you could always say no, but then there you go for the next 2 weeks. So. 73 there. If you want to hear your audio, go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. And that'll bring up this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,000, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. 73.
3,000, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. 73.
Roger, 73, Jim. Thank you very much. This W4YPW has come to KC9VKV. Have a good evening.
Roger, Fred. Just a thought. Handle that microphone a little softer because you are. It does. It's a device, and if you really push it hard, you'll start to hear clunks and clinks and stuff like that. So try to do what you need to do, but be tender with that microphone, Roger.
Do what you need to do, but be tender with that microphone, Roger.
Copy that. I will definitely take that in. Good advice there for sure. So, but thanks, Jim. You have a good one. I'm pretty sure we'll see you on here soon again.
Roger, Fred. 73, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo Quebec 4, Victor Echo Tango.
Echo Tango station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Echo Tango station, come back slowly phonetically with your call sign.
Kilo Quebec 4, Victor Echo Tango.
Victor Echo Tango, Roger. What's the name there?
Victor Echo Tango, Roger. What's the name there?
Copy that. I'm reading you pretty good, about a 5'9" in Fort Payne, Alabama.
Roger. And what's the name there?
Roger, Roger. And what's the name there?
The name is Scott. S-C-O-T-T.
Roger, Scott, and what radio are you running this afternoon?
Roger, Scott. And what radio are you running this afternoon?
I'm on an ICOM 7300. I'm running about 71 watts on a half-wave end-fed wire.
Roger, Roger. Now, why would you run 73 watts? That radio is designed to run at 100 watts, Roger.
That radio is designed to run at 100 watts, Roger.
Well, I like to play around with it and flip it around. Usually I make most of my contacts with about 35 watts. Sometimes I'll bump it up to 100, but usually I play between 1/4 and 3/4 of my power.
Yes, sir. You drive people nuts, though. I mean, well, like me, because I'm looking to get the absolute best recording for you that I can, and I'm saying, why is he doing 73 watts when he could be doing 100 watts and be slightly above the noise level more than he is at the moment?
Slightly above the noise level more than he is at the moment.
All right, I'll go ahead and bump it up to 100 watts. Can you notice a difference?
Well, let's say I do. I mean, it's bound to, in the mess of things, only slightly, though, because, when you go from 50 watts to 100 watts, somebody do something, so it's something like that. But it's always, to me, putting the best foot forward that you possibly can. And that 7300 is just a remarkable radio. And the first thing to do is to be sure that you're operating that transmitter in the best mode possible, the 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth, Roger?
The 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth, Roger?
Roger that. I copy.
Do you know about that and how to set that? If not, just take a note of that and pursue that later. That's very important that you be in that mode. Just let that transmitter give you the best output it can, and then give you just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation, Roger?
The daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation, Roger?
Copy that.
Okay, I'm really copying you well on my Georgia STR now. You're probably about 15 over or so, so I have a really good copy. Normally on that 7300 we suggest compression on at a 3. It's just something you'll never really hear on the air, but it helps us arrive at our final destination, which is a 3 dB dynamic range, which is 80 to 85% of peak modulation, Roger?
80 to 85% of peak modulation, Roger?
Roger that. I went ahead and turned my comp on into 3, like you had talked with the previous guy that called earlier. Now, one thing I did hear you talk about, and I'm not sure how to adjust it, but you were talking about saying the word audio and adjusting your ALC, but I'm not sure how to adjust the ALC. Mine's right about 50 right now, 50%.
Roger, it looked pretty good, but your microphone level, what you're doing when you do that to your ALC, you're actually setting your modulation level. And so you go be looking at your ALC meter with mic gain in hand, and as you say the word audio, speak it just as you would speak any other word in a QSO. Don't stress it, just say it, and as you say it, adjust your mic level until your ALC meter is running 2/3, Roger?
Until your ALC meter is running 2/3, Roger?
Roger that. I'll go ahead and give that a shot. Audio. Audio. Audio.
Look pretty good?
Look pretty good?
Audio. I'm still showing it about 50%. I can't get it, even playing with the mic gain. I cannot get it to go down any other than what it is.
Right. Well, you're not really getting it to go down. You're trying to get it to come up. So the hotter you turn your microphone, the hotter the ALC meter. So what is your microphone level right now?
ALC meter. So what is your microphone level right now?
Right now, my mic gain is set to about 39, 40.
Yeah, I think it looks good there. You might try 50. Try to just arbitrarily bring it up to 50 and see where that takes your ALC meter, Roger.
And see where that takes your ALC meter, Roger.
Roger that. Checking that now. It's still about the same, right about mid-range on my ALC meter.
Roger, Roger. Well, bring your audio back to about 40. I think that will sound really nice. And then let me hear you tell me about your antenna again, so I can get a good recording.
Tell me about your antenna again, so I can get a good recording.
Roger that. I'm running a half-wave end-fed antenna that goes up to a tulip poplar tree I have about, probably starts about 15 feet in the air and goes up to probably about 25, 30 feet. And it seems to be doing me pretty well.
Roger that. Now, do you know how to get to your equalization?
Roger that. Now, do you know how to get to your equalization?
That's a negative. I do not.
Okay, so it's called tone control on that radio, and it is a system transmit sideband tone control. I think that's the way it goes there, Roger.
Tone control. I think that's the way it goes there, Roger.
Roger that. Is it in my main menu?
Yes, sir. Well, you know, you've got those two things, a wrench and whatever cross. It comes out of there to transmit, and then in transmit it's a sideband, and then it's tone control. I believe that's the way it goes.
Tone control. I believe that's the way it goes.
But if in lieu of that, if you have trouble finding it, just make a note to self to push your treble plus 2 clicks hotter than where it is right now.
2 clicks hotter than where it is right now.
Copy that. I'll make a note of it, and when I do find it, I'll mess around with it some.
Yes, sir. And so, gosh, I got to get out of here. Scott, but it's been a pleasure, and if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. We'll take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
And I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow, Roger.
Roger that. Thank you very much for helping me out with my audio. I really appreciate it. This is KQ4VET signing out 73. Thank you.
Roger Scott, 73, sir. You have a great afternoon, beautiful weekend. If you get a chance, join us next Friday when you crank in those up with a couple of clicks of treble EQ. And with that being said, we got to get out of here. Since 3:30, we've been transmitting on our Qso-Vlog net and recording all the time. And if you participated and want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3,000, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. So with that being said, we got to get out of here. This is KC9VKV returning this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. KC9VKV is clear.